This Los Angeles Chargers and Jacksonville Jaguars edition of the Stephie Smalls Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SMALLS. Sports Gambling Podcast is back with their 32 NFL team previews. They're also bringing back the phrase that pays. Each episode, they'll give out a one word of a 32-word phrase. Submit the phrase for a chance to win a $1,000 circa future. Let's fucking go.
Are you ready?
Welcome back. We had to push back the show from yesterday. The voice is in better shape. I don't have to destroy your eardrums entirely. Today we're going to be talking Chargers and best bets with Mr. Feinberg. And then Nate Collins is gracing us with his presence again to redo that Jaguars team preview. So without further ado, let's get Geoff on. You know him from the Pat Mayo Show, OddsChecker, the Hammer HQ. How's it going?
It goes. You know, we're gearing up for football, excited for football, preparing for disappointment.
Yeah, it's kind of. You just went to the Hall of Fame. How was your trip to the Hall of Fame?
That is right, Steph. I went to the Hall of Fame. I went a few years ago for LaDainian. I went this past weekend for Antonio Gates, and it was great. It's sort of like I've never been to a Comic-Con. That's not my thing, but it's very much like what I like. Best way to describe it would be like an NFL Comic-Con.
Okay. All right. Got it. This weekend I was at the National Sports Card Convention, and I have to tell you, there was so many Phillip Rivers jerseys. Like, I think that was what I saw the most of. It was so peculiar. It was not what I was expecting. His jersey was everywhere, though.
Okay. That
maybe
I'm
it's a
surprised.
good sign. I don't know. Good juju maybe for the season. I didn't know how to handle it.
Maybe. Phil finally retired, so I have no idea. I have no idea what that's about.
Very interesting. All right, let's talk about the 2024 Chargers, 11-6, second in the division, lost in the wild card. Not too shabby, though. First year coach over there. Thoughts about the season?
I mean, when you go from like 5 wins the year before and Brandon Staley is the head coach and the operation feels like it's in shambles and you hadn't hit on like a 2nd to 5th round pick in years. And then we get last year where there's seriousness to the operation. It didn't feel like the Chargers charging was a thing. Granted, the playoff game wasn't great. Jesse Minter and the defense, I think, played over their heads. They did some great draft work last year through multiple rounds. So there's a lot to be excited about, but I don't know that they did enough where I'm confident they'll take a next step, Steph. But here's the deal. Last year, they didn't have a single quality win. They won 11 games, but their quality wins were 2 against Denver. Based on last year's preseason expectations, I don't know how we rank those, even as the season ends. That's just to say, but when you win 5 the year before and you get 11, you're not like worried that they didn't have quality. You appreciate the quantity. This year, they have to do something better against their quality opponents, or we will see what happens. But they got exposed in the playoffs, certainly.
Yeah, and is there any concerns with these losses that they had to the defense here? They kind of lost a lot, right? Bosa, Ford, Fulton, and I think it was Fox, maybe.
Puna Ford was the tough one. He went down the street to the Rams. I love Joey, but he didn't stay on the field. And I guess, that becomes a bit of an issue. Yeah. And, maybe the pass rush room can be a bit of a concern. But no, in terms of like what they gained, what they lost, I feel it was a wash. Or I feel like, when Harbaugh got there, they had to they were $100 million over the cap.
Yeah.
And then this year, and considering that and what they did on the field last year, it was pretty impressive. And then this year felt like this is an offseason where they can actually start to make the team more in their image with some money. And they really didn't spend. I shouldn't say they didn't spend. They didn't spend flashy
Right.
But they did bring in Mekhi Becton. And if you
I
watch
love
that playoff, if you watch
Yeah.
that playoff game, Steph, I mean, Herbert threw 3 picks through the whole regular season. I think he threw 4 or 5 in that game. That stout Texans front line just exploded the interior of the Charger line, which was a problem all year. And Mekhi Becton and Joe Alt on the right side of that line. Like, that might be one of the most dominant duos in football that the Chargers might be able to do almost, I don't want to say whatever they want, but behind those two. But their offensive line is expected to be quite formidable. And the team that Jim Harbaugh wants, well, it might not like be cool for the fantasy bros and like Justin Herbert, outlook in terms of being like a dominating fantasy or point producing quarterback. But the team is now going to be more in the vision of Jim Harbaugh. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, they're designed to be a little bit more of a run first offense, and that should improve because they were really actually not good at running the ball last year. That surprised me. Not it wasn't surprising, but it was definitely worse than I thought it was when I went back and looked at the numbers. Like 27th in rushing success feels crazy for this team. So I think drafting Hampton, adding Najee, which I guess I haven't been following. Is his eye okay? What is that about?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I think that, yeah. I mean, by all accounts, they're expecting him to be ready, progress being made. But I guess it's given the floor to Hampton. And I think we all assumed, because it's Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman, even if we're all assuming, like, even if Hampton is a super rookie, Najee's still going to eat a bit. That's just how Greg Roman or Jim Harbaugh teams are going to be created. But what's most impressive about Hampton, at least when I'm not like going to pretend I like know all these guys at the draft or who they're going to draft. But when your team or someone you like gets drafted on the team that you follow, you end up watching a lot of highlights. And I got stuck into this like algo of straight Omarion Hampton pass blocking highlights, Steph. Like, there will be situations where this guy does not leave the field, that he will be a 3-down back, that he is pass protection ability, acumen for a guy who's never taken an NFL snap looks off the charts. And Justin Herbert, listen, there's criticisms, there's I will pile the praise, but no one can deny, like, he's willing to stand in the pocket and get obliterated to deliver the football. And now that with a guy like Omarion Hampton, who, if you give Justin Herbert like an extra quarter second, half second to deliver that football, he's going to find the guy, and his arm strength can hit every blade of grass. So, I mean, hopefully this is just another part of what Omarion can bring to the Chargers. I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah, it was shocking. Dobbins and Edwards, they just couldn't run the ball last year.
It was bad.
Yeah. And, truth be told, Steph, like, Justin Herbert's the most important player on the Chargers. But if, like, Ladd McConkey did not develop last year, it's hard to fathom what the Chargers might have been, truthfully.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that second year of Mr. Laddie Daddy is something to really look forward to here. People are writing off QJ as dead. And I think, I get it, but I think, like, he's still going to have some involvement. Like, I don't think he's going to disappear entirely. Trey Harris, how are we feeling about Trey Harris?
Well, firstly, to QJ, he's going to have to continue to make progress. And there were, again, some polarizing drops that it just seems like he won't escape. But maybe there could be enough, a little more good to offset it. But if you look at what he did 2 years ago, QJ, and look what he did last year, I mean, he's one of the more improved players. He's still under the microscope because he has flaws and they're polarizing.
And it's the moments he does it in, and then it's just
jeez.
It's so bad.
It's so just bad. The worst. I'll never forget a drop against the Packers. Whatever. No, that's just me in my head. Trey Harris is a bit of an X factor, and that's an unfortunate ask of a second round receiver. But hitting a young developmental quarterback and having them on a rookie deal, that hits is like the goal of NFL personnel. But it seems like the 2.0 goal, once you have that quarterback, Steph, is hitting on second or third round receivers, with just the way the money and the position is going there, that this season, I will not complain, or you tell me to shut up if Trey Harris develops, because if they can go into back-to-back drafts and hit in a second-round receiver, like nothing is more valuable in this current NFL. 2 second-round receivers hitting in back-to-back years, it's almost like hitting a rookie quarterback. The way the wage scale has just gone bonkers. So he is, I feel, as important to the next like 3 or 4 years of the Chargers as any player we can talk about who isn't the obvious players. And I don't know much about Trey Harris. He's having a nice camp, which is to say I didn't like track him at Ole Miss or anything. But after what they did last year in the draft, like I just fully trust them at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, drafting is just so important. These teams that miss, it puts you behind for decades at this point.
And especially the Chargers, they're trying to build a wide receiver room through the draft. They're trying to get very cocky and creative, like simultaneously. They're not paying for receivers on the market. They have money. Not to say there was a receiver that fit. They were not involved. People thought they'd be involved in DK Metcalf. No, what they do, they took that second-round pick and didn't pay him $33 million, and they just said, no, we're going to find another one. But it's stuff like this, Steph, that makes it hard for a Charger fan or an outsider to think this team could actually be ready to take the next step this year, which is a bit unfortunate. And there's a scenario that I've banted in my head all year that essentially last year's team may have overachieved. I mean, obviously the playoffs are a disappointment, but 11 wins for what we thought they were last preseason, I think we'd acknowledge that team overachieved. The defense does not. I think it's, there's some football fans that think it's like a really talented defense. And I'm like, I don't know where you get that from. Like last year, I thought it was all like Jesse Minter. The Chargers just dominated. If you look at last year's results, they just dominated mid and bottom tier quarterbacks. Like Jesse Minter.
The Chargers defense is like the perfect example of like, if you ask like your like average NFL fan to name like 4 players on the Chargers team, like they don't think they could do it.
Or maybe they could, but there'd be no one after. Like they wouldn't be close to naming that fifth player.
Yeah.
But the Chargers, they had an easy schedule last year, and they did take advantage of it, despite not winning any of the limited quality games they had. Yeah. They did battle the Chiefs, close as they always do. But how do I put this? Like, I'm concerned the defense grossly overachieved. Like, they were dominant in points allowed statistics, which was like very like we're not nearly, or the Chargers defense isn't nearly that good. But at the same time, when you're a Chargers fan, and like last year, one of the things that was like the most reassuring thing about the year and the future was they dominated the games the Chargers were supposed to win. They dominated.
They won.
And anyone remembers the Chargers or the Chargers charging, there was no opponent too weak for the Chargers not to play down to their level. Everything became a fourth quarter sweat. It didn't matter what the talent dispersion was of the teams. But last year was the first time where it's like, no, Chargers are better than you. And to me, that was like, that's a Jim Harbaugh effect. And I know that's like such a corny thing to say, but when you're a Charger fan and you always play down to the level of the inferior teams you played, it was just such a reassuring thing as to what could be happening here, that when it was time to have a team to kick their ass, the Chargers dummied them.
I love it. We don't care about Josh Palmer leaving, right?
I like Josh. He, as you know me, I'm from Toronto, and he's just from up the street. So I always like seeing like Chargers represented in those NFL Canada commercials that you guys don't see, but we get 100 times. I don't mind that he left, but he just didn't. He just didn't really get replaced. I mean, I'm excited. I'm happy they brought in Keenan Allen this week. I'm not going to
I figured.
But, listen, I don't know. I have concerns about it, but at the same time, like, he's a pro's pro. It's a young room. I think he's the perfect guy for this young room to lean on. But on the flip side of that, like, how many teams does YR4, YR4.5, like, not participate in special teams? So you're kind of limiting your roster a bit when but I'm pro Keenan, but yeah, I'm concerned about the receiving core. The offensive line just hold up, and Justin's gotta deliver that football.
Yeah, their win total. First of all, their schedule isn't exactly scary, though. I think the only thing is that the division is strengthening, and I think that probably adds to it. I don't think their schedule is that scary, though. But their win total is at 9.5. Set out, what is it, -113 to both sides. Like, I think they still go over this. They could sneak out 10 wins, no?
They should, you would think, but I also think it feels like a bit of a trap, and I'm a bit concerned. The thing about the Chargers is, I think we'd all acknowledge, just between like having the quarterback and the coach, the floor is pretty high. Like, there's no way this team is going to be really bad, but there's a chance it could like flounder and get stuck on 8 or 9 wins. But like, the floor is really high, but they still might not be a playoff team. Like, I don't see any chance they're bad, but they might not be good enough. And that's a little scary. And Denver scares me. But I don't know. I meant it's at least reassuring to not be like that they're run by adults, and that I feel like the process is under control.
That feels good, right? That's gotta feel a little good.
Yeah, I mean, you as a Giants fan, you've been in a bit of your own circus. Chargers fans, we've much been on that circus as well, rotating, rookie head coaches. But now, like, it just feels like I don't need to worry if like things are being done like a process and things being done properly, which I legitimately scared me in past regimes. But I am worried they did not do enough in the offseason that we could legitimately think this team is ready to take the next step.
Yeah. I think at least it has to be comforting. Like, it's basically just echoing what you said. Like, you're not going to get a horrendous product on the field at any point. I think that's fair to say. Whereas, like, the Giants, like, we could go out any week and lose by 60 points, and I wouldn't be shocked.
No, but I don't know. The Giants have 4 or 5 players that are as good as anyone's.
Yeah,
but I
think they're in the right direction, but I don't think we're still a little bit too
after that. But if the Chargers did like roll off 11 wins and, God willing, like dethrone the Chiefs finally, I don't know that anyone is like super shocked either. I think the only result that would truly shock people is them being like bad. But average or really good, I think is possible. Like last year, Steph, they're being very discounted by the pros and like the sharps and the model guys, which I get because in all their formulations, and they still don't model Harbaugh ball properly. So I'm hoping, like last year, watching all my sharp betting friends just get destroyed as the Chargers won and covered and were so dominant ATS last year. I'd love for that to happen again. It'd make me so happy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, honestly, like, I think the plus 310, they're third to win the division here. Like, I think there's probably value there on that, because I think that upside is there.
Yeah. I mean, let me ask, I'll put you on the spot, and you don't got to butter my bread, but who do you lean, like Broncos or Chargers?
I lean the Chargers. I think that I expect Bo Nix to take a little bit of a step back next year. I don't foresee him. And maybe I'm still, and everyone that listens to the show is gonna be like, you said this last year. I'm just not high on that Broncos team. I think that their defense is lovely, but I think it's expected that they have some regression from that too. They also stayed very healthy. And Bo Nix, it's just his game is predicated off a lot of just like these yards after the catch. So if they can start airing out, which we did see Peyton start giving him a little bit more trust. I don't know. I think they went above and beyond. I could see them taking.
They're getting a lot of love. For good people, love the defense, the offensive line, and Sean Payton on the whiteboard should put Bo in positions to succeed. I'm like you. I'm still one of these people like, Bo was so old when he entered the league that his growth might not be as like, how do I put this? He's already 26, so his ability to improve might be stunted. Like what he was last year might be closer to a finished product, Bo Nix. Well, some of the younger rookie quarterbacks, you still feel have a lot of progression, but that could just be me hoping for the best with a division rival QB. I will not be holding myself to that. I'm actually very concerned that he could develop into like a perfect Sean Payton quarterback, and that scares the crap out of me, Steph.
Yeah, I think the addition of Evan Ingram is unfortunately a good thing for them in your case. So I will give them that. Probably just stay away from this. With the Chiefs in the division, it's hard. It's like if you want to bet on a team, I'd rather go down to the Chargers and get a little bit more for bang for your buck. If you think someone's going to dethrone the Chiefs. I don't hate, not to hurt your feelings, but I don't hate the plus 280 number on them to lose in the wild card round again.
Sure.
I don't hate that.
What, like, you're just that's low hanging fruit. You know,
It is.
I see of course, because you could see them making the playoffs, but then you're like, look who they'd probably play in wild card. And I mean, that's been a bugaboo. Herbert going to another playoff game and not losing would be frustrating. We'll know a lot quickly, Steph. 3 straight division games to start the season.
It's a lot.
Right out of the gate. The first 2 are even in prime time, as they'll get the Chiefs in Brazil and then the Raiders on Monday in week 2. But I like the draw of the week 1 Chiefs. I think that's a good draw. If they're if they're this franchise that's almost like this new version of what we experienced with the Patriots. We saw last year their motor takes a little revving, except teams just gave them games. So I think there's a chance, an opportunity, I should say, to like punch them in the mouth out of the gate. But you could 20 minutes into that game when Andy Reid opens with like a masterclass 13 play, 6.5 minute touchdown drive, you'll know I'll be in a ball on the floor. So, I
mean, it's also probably a good opportunity for them to get that run game going hot out the gate too, because the Chiefs' run D was not great last year, as we saw in the Super Bowl too.
Yeah, and if the Chargers are in a spot where they're, the games are tight, they're built to be in tight games, and with that offensive line, like they're built to run you out behind Becton and Joe Alt. Right. So, we'll see. Like if the vision of Harbaugh and Roman, which doesn't excite fantasy bros, and I get that makes total sense. There's not much to be that excited about. And, even with Hampton, Steph, like I've seen his numbers get crushed as people like realize how much he might play. But I still don't think we still don't know what like the touchdown situations will be.
Yeah, and looking at some of these, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I didn't know if the page reloaded. I've been having all these tech problems this week, so now I'm a little paranoid. Hampton's, looking at the player lines, some of these here. Hampton's rushing yards line is at 850 and a half. Where are you at with that?
Yeah, I mean, there were 800s for a while that I got a piece of. Those boys over at 4 for 4 were showing me those. And even his alt lines were around 1,000, and now they've jumped up to like 1,075, 1,050.
Yeah.
I believe he's going again. I like the overs on these, but I don't. But like from a fantasy perspective, I don't know what the goal line situations are going to be. So I'm way more inclined to say bet on these Hampton props than maybe own them in fantasy. But that's just me. I actually really like. I got 800. I don't really know how to speak to 850, but I do like. Greg Roman, Jim Harbaugh draft a running back in the first round. They sign. I keep saying it, but. They signed Mekhi Becton. Like there's a signal. Everyone, Jim Harbaugh hasn't changed. Everything you were saying last offseason will remain true for how the Chargers want to win, despite not being able to do that last year.
Yeah, I bet Najee before you guys drafted Hampton to go over. I think I got it at 900.5. I'd have to look. Don't quote me on that. To go over that because he just goes over it every year, and I've been betting that year after year, and it's just like an automatic play for me. And I know people don't like Najee. He's slow, blah blah. It's like I don't really care. He just gets the ball, and I think the volume could be there for him at any given point in the season.
Absolutely, and like there's even without being the main guy, they're gonna feed him a ton.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hampton owners will probably be really frustrated because even if Hampton is playing, like competing for like, even if Hampton is playing to the ceiling, you think, people will still be frustrated how much Najee's going to get the ball.
Yeah, I'm with you there. McConkey lead the division in receiving touchdowns. Kind of caught my attention at plus 350. I didn't touch it though. He's sitting at like what? 10, 25.5 for receiving yards. Receiving touchdowns is 6.5. That seems like a little bit low of a number.
Yeah, it does seem low, doesn't it?
Right? That feels like a trap for some reason because, I mean, it's 7 last year, and I don't know that they got the most out of him, and he was still a rookie.
I mean, yeah, I think that does seem low, and he isn't like the prototypical red zone target.
Yeah.
But it is amazing how, like, he just blew me away. He just kept raising the bar of what I thought this guy was like nonstop. Is a deep rookie class. They were all incredible for the most part, but like his ability to run the cleanest routes, to just be in these, to find the holes, put them outside, put them inside, his ability to adjust the balls. He will probably, I will bet over 6.5 Ladd McConkey touchdowns.
Yeah, I love it. It's funny doing these and I like going through it. I realized like I bet things without knowing that I bet them. And I had already bet Justin Herbert over 3,600.5 passing yards at minus 110. The only year he didn't go over this was just the year they played 13 games. So in my head, he just needs to stay healthy.
Yeah. Sure.
All these lines feel, I'm like, what am I missing?
Yeah, I mean, people, I think there's some buy low on Justin as people, still think that he'll be reined in under like a Harbaugh system. But last year, like he was battling injuries as well. That whole early part in the year, he missed a lot of camp with the ankle or the plantar fascia. I see no way the Chargers aren't successful without Justin Herbert being Justin Herbert. Like they need the run game to be special and to take the next step, but they're not anything without Justin clearing that number. And I expect that number cleared. Yeah.
I think with the passing TDs, I'll probably, just because of expecting them to improve the run game, I probably would pass on it, but I wouldn't knock anyone that wants to take the over 22.5. Like I don't think that it's a bad bet. I just would rather take the passing yards for him.
What's the pass? What's the touchdown number?
22.5. Yeah.
I will say last year, like my best bet, like week in, week out, even got to the point where I had to lay the juice, was like the Herbert no pick. You were all about the Herbert picks, or not Herbert picks, the quarterback picks.
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't even bet the Chargers to win or lose games. I just bet Herbert to not throw picks. And that's what made the playoff game so much more soul crushing.
Oh, amazing.
All year he did not throw picks. He did not throw picks. 3 interceptions through the whole season. So we'll see. I'll be honest, I'm pretty pessimistic. Like if you're with me on the golf course, if you're with me on the golf course and the combo turns the Chargers radio, like I'm not optimistic. I fear that last year overachieved, as I've said, and I just like to keep my expectations low as well, Steph. There's no good in raising them. It doesn't do anyone
it does you no good, like at all. I pick like one thing to bet on the Giants be preseason, and that's it. I don't touch anything else because it's not a good feeling.
I think the Giants are going to be better than people think. I'm not just putting air in your tires, and you might think it's pointless because it still won't be good enough, because that's true. But I think they're going to be better. I think they're going to be better than people think. Surely the roster, there'll be ugly weeks, but you are going to beat down a couple good teams this year while still not winning and nearly close to the amount of games that make you happy. You're going to have a couple wins where you guys just body bag a couple decent teams, and hopefully for your sake it's in the division.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a very good ATS team. Like, I think that's the books are not going to catch up to them covering, because that defense is going to be really hard to scheme against that defense, because if you have to put 2 on Dexter, then what do you do from there? Because that sucks.
The Chargers and Giants play, right?
Yeah, they do play this year.
Yeah, so that'll be an interesting one, because I think the Chargers' strength is their O-line, and the Giants' strength will be that D-line. So
yeah, should be interesting. Do you have any other futures on the Chargers?
I have my Omarion Hampton overs, but no, I'm really no, they kind of got me in a pretzel. I will make a couple silly futures. I'll bet them to do things no one else thinks they'll do, just so I have those for my own peace of mind. But
of course.
Yeah, no, I'm not bullish on them, but again, their floor is too high to think you can pick on them.
Yes, I know. I found a ticket of mine. I actually should have looked at the date of it. I don't know if I did this after the draft when the lines came out. I have a Trey Harris to have 1,000+ receiving yards at plus 850. I feel like that's a crazy number. Like, what?
Oh, I mean, he's looked good. That, again, I said it, that's the X factor to not just this year, but maybe the next 2 or 3 years of Chargers ball is Trey Harris. So. And
I feel like we see the books. I find that rookie wide receivers, there's such you can find gaps in the market. Even like T-Mac, his touchdown should not be sitting at 5.5 or 4.5, whatever it is right now. They just really disrespect a lot of these guys that are probably going to have a bigger role than the books.
Well, because their variance of floor to ceiling is enormous.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, there's just huge variance on what you could be, Lad McConkey, or you could be the guy the Patriots drafted, Carlos Polk, and do nothing. So
that's fair.
Right.
That's fair. Yeah. Any other futures you want to give out before I let you get out of here? Sure. Favorite golf bet for this week? NFL future?
I'll give NFL futures, because I've hit 2 golf winners in a row, Steph. So there's no way I'm hitting third. Don't even tail. Atlanta Falcons. I'm just bullish on their win total over, alt overs, 8.5, 9.5, 10.5. I'll be brief. Everything that could have gone wrong for Atlanta went wrong last year. Not only did Kirk Cousins break down, the 7 second half interceptions were just killer. But for the amount of how much they moved the ball, how little they went 3 and out, it's insane how few points they scored. It's incredible. The math just doesn't math there. But none of the luck was on their side. They had one of the easiest schedules in the league going into the season, and it overperformed by 20+ wins to their opponents. Their opponents were way better than expected last year. They have an easy schedule this year. I assume their opponents won't do that again, but this is the craziest stat for me from Falcons last year. Their opponents hit 50 of 51 field goals against them. 11 of 11 from over 50 yards. Yeah. 11 of 11 from over 50 yards, 50 of 51. They never caught a break. Well, their quarterback sucked. I know there's so much talent. I know you're in the Kyle Pitts, online battles all the time. I don't know, but so much went against them. I still think there's a lot there, and the ceiling with Penix, obviously there could be a floor, is huge. So I'm very bullish on Atlanta, division, and alt win total overs.
I absolutely love that's a crazy stat. Always appreciate you coming on. Why don't you ever know where they can find you, and I'll get you out of here. I appreciate your time as always, my friend.
Yeah, you'll find my work throughout the football season over at Mayo Media Network. We'll have a lot of fun over there. OddsChecker and the Hammer, tons of fun. And I'm sorry, I said 50 of 51. It was 31 of 32. That's a lot of field goals, but still,
that's a lot of field goals.
And 11 of 11 from over 50 yards, while the Falcons only went 6 of 11 from over 50 yards. Just the luck factor that worked against Atlanta last year, it's mind-boggling. Won't happen again. Steph, appreciate you having me on Talk Ball anytime. Hit me up.
Yes, we'll get you on soon. I'll get you out of here now. Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million in first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog is also a great place to play Pick'em, where you can win up to 500x your entry. Here is a Pick'em entry that I like, and they are week 1 longest receptions. Trey Harris, lower 15.5. Garrett Wilson, higher 20.5. And Gmo, higher 22.5. So sign up with Smalls to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code Smalls. We're also brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport. All of these football futures, MLB, WNBA. I don't know that they have any daily dildo lines over there, but they have everything else. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head to mybookie.ag. Promo code Smalls for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code Smalls. And now coming back because he had to suffer with me through that horrendous technology is Nate Collins, former NFL player. You know him from the Green Light Pod. What's going on?
Yo, what's good? What's the secret? Because your voice was fucked yesterday.
It was fucked. It was
I'm surprised. When I seen those clips, I was like, is she gonna be ready for tomorrow?
Yeah, those clips were at least from Monday. So like I think the full day off yesterday was helpful, but it's hard because I also break sports cards in the morning. So I was like, I am so screwed because I talk in the morning and then I have to come and do this podcast. So I was like, I don't know, there's no effing shot I'm gonna be okay. Yeah, I'm impressed. I just shut the fuck up yesterday. Like I didn't say anything.
Nice. No,
I'm
glad you got me back.
Smelling salts. Do we have thoughts on that?
Oh man. I think it's so funny. I tweeted about it. I want to know what the fine and or punishment is going to be, because if it's like a light fine, I think the NFL is they're just trying to penny pinch and get money, because fines, if for people who don't know, all the fines that players get in the NFL, it ends up going to a foundation or some sort of donation somewhere. So the NFL they're just making money all different directions. And I just feel like this is something that this is just out of the blue. And a lot of people do use these. So it's going to be interesting to see. And that's what I'm saying. Because if it's just a fine, guys take $10,000 fines for wearing the wrong shoelaces. So like if it's something that is going to, if guys think it's going to make me perform better, like I'm going to take the fine.
It's just such a crazy ER doctors use them all the time. Like it's literally like it's such a ridiculous thing to ban. Like I don't even fucking understand. We are going to redo the Jags here because the Jags do deserve their love.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe that wasn't great with my voice still. I'm not quite there. Last year, talking about 2024, that defense, we kind of talked about it when you were on before, 31st in defensive DVOA against the easiest offensive schedule. That part I left out the other day. That was the easiest. Oh my gosh. And it's not, the thing is with this too, not something you can blame on injury. Love the Liam Cohen, love bringing him in. He is corny, but he is offensive minded, and I think that's going to elevate T-Law. Did Trevor only play 7 games? Well, did he miss? He missed some of the season.
Yeah, he did. Right? He was injured, I think.
Yeah. What do you think about this team and what they've added and going into 2025?
I mean, I think overall this is a better team than last year, but just like you said, there's major holes on defense, and the O-line is just questionable. I think this team will honestly go as far as maybe the O-line can take them. And I do like their new addition, Robert Hainsley, their center. Yeah. And he's a guy that he played center for Tom Brady with the Bucks. And I feel like he's a guy that can maybe help mold and get that whole O-line together, and even maybe help Trevor with stuff that can help him tweak and just get them a little bit better, because I do feel like Trevor is a capable quarterback. And I feel like you just said with Leon, I feel like they can really make a boom if they click. It's just one of those things where we see this happen. It doesn't happen all the time, but hey, you get a new coach, new play caller, and it actually works with the team and everyone buys in, and you got a stud in Travis Henry, so everyone's excited to see what he's got going. And you got guys that realistically, I think everyone kind of hates on Etienne, but you got guys, you got playmakers in that locker room. You have a lot of playmakers in that locker room.
You do. You know what the thing is? It's like, it's one of those teams where, like, outside of a couple of names, they're not like flashy household names. So like, it's easy to be like, oh, who's that? Like, everyone hates Etienne. They hate Etienne. Like this. It's because he lost them in fantasy, and then those fantasy bros don't play them.
Fantasy, man, fantasy ruins fandom. Like, honestly, because it tricks you to think that guys aren't performing well, but it's just that if guys have weeks where they're performing well and someone else in their position just performs better, it doesn't mean your player or your guy isn't doing well. And I feel like a lot of guys get a bad rep because of that. But I like the fact that they have so many options, like in that backfield and on that offense now, that it's just one of those things, just like you talked about, the defense we have to have a little bit more spark on the defense to really think about them, like trying to make a move for maybe a wild card and sneak in. And it's just hard to think that they can get over the hump and sneak in like right now, just being a realistic fan. Do I want it to happen? Absolutely.
Yeah. The defense has to come up in big moments too. I do think like we could see this three-headed backfield. Although I think, speaking of the fantasy bros, maybe a little bit too high on Tootin because they like the way that you say his name. But it seems like Tank's getting a lot of work. Tank and Tootin, that's a nice little back there. All right, win totals at 7.5. Over is at -117. Under is 107. 4-3 last season. In all caps, they just have O-line. That's about all my notes for this. Travis Hunter impact on both sides of the ball. That's about those are my notes about this win total. So what are you thinking here?
You said it's 7.5?
Yeah. I could win 8, right?
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Here's my thought. If they let Travis Hunter be Travis Hunter, and what I mean by that, which this is probably not going to happen,
I know.
But if they get him on special teams, I say that win total can go to 9. I would put money on over 8.5 if I knew they were going to at least put Travis Hunter out there on special teams also, because he's just, the more he's on the field, I just feel like it's the better chances they're going to have to win. And yes, it's crazy. Like, he's not going to be playing. Maybe he's not going to be playing 120 snaps like he was doing in college. But if the kid is making plays, it's like, how do you not put him out there? How do you not put him out there?
I'm totally with you. And honestly, like, I'm going to jump around a little bit here. And we've seen too, this is a bad comparison, but Jaden Daniels was able to elevate that team entirely. I think the Travis Hunter impact that is just like what he's capable of doing and the plays he's able to make and maybe win them some of these closer games. Like, you could see that with this team where we're all of a sudden, it's week whatever, and we're looking at a Jags team that has 9 wins. And it's like, yeah, because Travis Hunter was awesome, and we're having a conversation about him for Offensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year. Like, if he goes above and beyond, I don't know. Like, I think there's something to talk about, at least with Travis Hunter there. O-line, defense, but can he make an impact? You could say, what is he worth? Like 2-3 wins if he reaches that ceiling there?
Yeah, because it's just he's a guy that everyone, I think, all eyes on him. I think everyone knows that he's going to be at least mediocre on offense. He's going to be a person that he can run routes, he can get open, he can catch the ball. Like, they can design plays and do all that. He's going to be fine. Everyone wants to see him lock up on the Justin Jeffersons, lock up on the big-time wide receivers to see how he can play, because if he's a guy that's going to be out there ball hawking and getting interceptions and changing possession for your team, that's what's going to sneak in those extra couple of wins that might push you guys into the wild card or in the playoffs, because that's all it takes is if you can steal a couple of possessions a game and at least in drives, like with field goals and points, like that's the difference. And I think that's what everyone is looking for. And if he does end up being a lockdown defender, that's going to help plug up a lot of the holes on the defense. And it takes a lot of pressure off of Hines Allen up front. And if he maybe has an extra half second to a second, like that equals to extra sacks and things like that. And crazy, I know no one's thinking about it, but it's up in the air. Yo, what happens if Michael Parsons like, hey, I can help that defense out. Imagine. Like, it's just one of those things. This is a good time before the season. But the Jags, I like over 7.5.
I like it too. It's funny because I think I don't think when we first recorded, which we took it down, I'm pretty sure, I think I was like leaning the other way. But then the more I actually like sat and looked at it, I was like, it's too hard for me not to take the over here, because I think 8 wins is very realistic.
Yeah.
It has to be. Yeah. I absolutely also hammered Travis Hunter's over 4.5 receiving touchdowns at -106. I feel like
that's what we talked about. That's what we talked about. And it's just like, here's my thing. The reason why I could see that happening, and this is crazy, I can see that happening. You don't want to hear this, and him having like 11 touchdowns and you still not hitting that, because I just feel like in the red zone, they're going to be doing all that stuff like they were doing with Tyreek Hill. Like, they're going to be doing like the reverses and like the shovel passes and the things that it looks like a pass, seems like a pass. When you look at the stat sheet, ends up being a rushing touchdown or whatever it may be. So maybe it's something where you could look at, like, if they have somewhere Travis Hunter's rushing touchdowns, you might get a real good deal on that. That's something that we're going to like
the rushing yards game by game. If you can find those half a yard for a little bit before the books get smart, they do that shit all the time with like Xavier Worthy and all these guys, where you can sneak those in for a little bit before they figure it out. But like that's the shit I'm going to be betting on Travis Hunter. It's going to be fun to bet him. Looking at T-Law before start wrapping up here. What is he sitting at? 3,700.5 passing yards. Do you have a strong feeling one way or the other? A lot of weapons.
Yeah, I would say over. I think they're going to be airing it out this year. They kind of have not that they have no choice. What's Buddy's name? Is he still is he back at Christian Kirk? Didn't he get that bad? What did he get injured last year?
Who is that? Is Christian Kirk gone?
Is he gone?
I think he's on the Texans for some reason, but I could have made that up.
Maybe. But I just feel like also with Trevor coming off an injury, I think he's going to be –
I'm not an idiot. Cool.
Yeah. I think with Trevor coming off an injury, I think he's going to be trying to stay in the pocket more. I don't think he's going to be really risking his body. I would think. So I would think he would be trying to throw the ball. And I think with Liam having the spotlight down there, I think as a play caller, you kind of want to show your stuff. And with that being said, your quarterback, the more yards your quarterback can have passing, and the better he does, and the more touchdowns and production he has, it's going to directly correlate to play calling. So I would shoot for the over for that, barring any injuries. I think everything obviously is barring injuries, but I think if he's locked in, I think this is the year that the Jags, maybe they can be kind of like that sleeper team that people are kind of like sleeping on, and you just be like, hey, wait, the Jags, like it's middle of the season and the Jags have 5 wins already. Hey, like,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. I'm gonna tell everyone about Circa first. Circa's holding the world's biggest pro football contest, Circa Million, Circa Survivor, and Grandissimo with over 21 million in guaranteed prizes. You can't call yourself a true DGen if you're not competing in the Circa football contest. Come hang with us. We'll be there contest weekend. You can get 15% off your stay with promo code SGP15. And of course, the contest is for everyone. Sign up in Nevada and play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com and use promo code SGP. Let's give me what other, is there a future? I think you gave me some last time. What's a future NFL future that you bet that you really like before I let you get out of here?
I heard your man say that you guys were talking about Lab McConkey and what, like 7.5 touchdowns or something like that.
I think it was like 6.5.
6.5, bro. I have Lab McConkey.
Oh, yeah.
12 plus touchdowns.
Yeah.
700. I just love his game, bro. Like there's something about him, and then the kid from what is it, Pearsall? The kid from San Fran.
Ricky to the chest.
Say, oh yes, bro. Like what? Like, yo, I'm playing at the end of the season where I started a season where I get mugged and shot by a freaking teenager for my Rolex. That
you know what? You all go bet Jennings. Like, have fucking fun with that. I'm going with Ricky too.
What? It's just like, bro, like I don't think people kind of like just understand just some things that like with football players, like obviously that's a crazy injury, but just injuries in general and going out and being able to compete every Sunday. Like I was just talking to someone recently this week about it, that for NFL guys with camp starting, like this week is the best their body is going to feel until the end of February. Honestly, to the end of February for some guys, like this is the best their body, like, because they've been rehabbing, they've been getting treatment as long as they want, they've been doing all that stuff. For the guys who do take care of their body, and a lot of guys do, and they care, but just the amount of punishment you're taking throughout camp and your body and everything it goes through, and then being able to get it all together to compete is just crazy. So just thinking about having to getting shot and what he did when he came back, I think he's going to be a special player. Like, honestly,
he got fucking shot. I feel like everyone's ignoring that. Like, he literally got shot twice. That's craziness. Yeah. Absolutely crazy. You are fantastic. Let everyone know where they can find you, where your work is. We'll have to get you on very soon. I appreciate you doing this again with me.
Yeah, you can find me at Big N98 on X, and then Bigger N98 on Instagram. And I'm also you can follow Greenlight Pod on all socials. Greenlight Pod with Chris Long. Season's coming up. Check us out. Monday live shows on YouTube. And football's back, man. I'm excited.
Oh, I'm so happy. I feel so alive again. It's awesome. I got to rest my voice for it. So I'll let you get out of here, Nate. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. Rhythm continues to crush it with power trends, essentially the best of what their house model has to offer. These are AI detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. I do have a golf play for you guys, so stay tuned for that. Power trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data backed bets. MLB power trends are absolutely crushing it right now. Fading players is profitable. WNBA power trends since All-Star break are 27 and 16 with a 23.36% ROI. Absolutely cooking. Nice little bankroll builder for when NFL arrives. Download the Rhythm app and check out power trends. But I, of course, once again, got to stick golf in for you guys. Mr. Denny McCarthy, top 20, plus 175. My model on Rhythm has him finishing second, which of always I say it's probably a little bit dramatic, but it is my short dog play. You get plus 175 on that. Denny McCarthy, top 20. And we will be back tomorrow. I will see you guys then.